Hey gang, Ronan here. Welcome on back to the Retrocade and welcome to another edition of Sports Saturday, where we hit the Wayback Machine and check out a classic sports game from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation of about 1984 to 2010. And real quick, apologies for not having any episodes up this time last weekend. It was a lot of stuff that I was having to take care of on the work front. Fortunately, nothing bad. But it just took up a lot of my time, and by the point where I would normally do my recording, I was just completely out of gas. So I figured, rather than give you guys content where I'm running at about 50%, I took the week off, let the batteries recharge a little bit, and we're ready to go here again this weekend for both Sports Saturday and Suckerpunch Sunday, which we will have, as always, coming up tomorrow. So, for today, we are going to go back to 2006, 2007, and we're going to play one of my favorite games, of which there are not a great many, from the EA Sports catalog. We're going to play NCAA Football 2007. And we're going to do this for a couple reasons. One, it is, unlike Madden Football, it's a game that has so much more going for it, and it was a game that EA really, I think this demonstrates the peak of their ability to culminate a total sports package. Now, you have to bear in mind, NCAA sports as a whole, EA had to stop creating games for them around 2013, 2014 because of a federal court case that essentially the decision was made that anybody who is represented as a player in any of these games had to be monetarily compensated with for their being in here, even though this game doesn't have any formal players' names on it. They did it specifically for that reason, so you would be able to get around having the NCAA amateur sports rules apply, and then those schools could potentially get in trouble. So what we're going to do is we're just going to play a straight-up four-quarter game here. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and recreate one of the biggest rivalries in all of college football, which is the annual battle between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines. Now, in terms of sports, of which I'm a fan of a great many things in sports, I don't have a dog in this fight between these two schools. I didn't go to Ohio State. I didn't go to Michigan. I spent some time living in Ohio, but and I've been to Columbus like once or twice in my life, and I have seen what I have to deem legally as the Ohio State University. But pretty much on every college football calendar year, this is the game that everybody's looking to watch towards the latter half of the season before you get into bowl season. Now, the quarters are set at 5 minutes, and I will tell you right now, I think this is probably one of the drawbacks of this game, again, which there are not a great many, because this sports presentation that we get here with Brad Nessler, Lee Corso, and Kirk Herbstreit, who are actual commentators and broadcasters that work for ESPN in various guises.
The Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines.
The game does tend to get dragged out a little bit long, so rather than doing the full 30 minutes, just heads up that this one may run 45 minutes to even potentially an hour. I am playing it on the standard level, which they call varsity. You can do junior varsity, varsity, or the Heisman level, which I figured I'm not going to waste my time with it. And then this game plays, if you've ever played Madden, the controls are very much the same. They did change up a couple things a little bit, and I'll try to explain it as best we can. But when this game came out in 2007, I actually bought this and Madden, and for the better part of the next 10 to 15 years almost, they have still been my primary football games. I still own this game on my PS2, along with Madden 07, and every once in a while, I'll bust them out and I'll play them. because my favorite part of this series was what they called the Dynasty mode, where not only can you pick a school and coach it to hopefully winning a national championship, but also you can build a program that will last.
I don't know, Coach.
Ooh, we already got a fumble.
He's going up against some really good second.
Picked up, and we're going to run it in for 6 on the first play of the ball game. How about that?
He'll find his receivers and get the job done.
Well, I wasn't expecting that, but we are immediately on the board, 6-0.
They'll line up for the extra point here.
Now, to kick extra points and field goals in this game, you actually use the right stick. So you pull it back to get the power, and then you push it forward to kick it through. And it's not that complicated really until you get down to having to kick field goals. Extra points, because they spot at the 2-yard line, they're gimmies. And considering how windy it is in Ann Arbor, Michigan today, I suspect that wind is going to be a factor.
He kicks it off.
In fact, we're going to kick this ball out of bounds, which will get a penalty flag.
The ref call.
On the opening kickoff, you're not allowed to boot it out of bounds.
You know, the kicker has one job. And that's
But when this game came out in 06-07, it was very, very well received.
Because now the offense will start with great.
And again, it was really to the point where by the 2010s, by the turn of the decade, the quality of what EA was starting to offer in their games was beginning to drop off quite noticeably. To the point now where if you go and you check the reviews for Madden 23, although Madden 24 has already been announced and it's in the pipeline, you get a lot of people who are not happy with what EA's done because it's been become all about microtransactions and doing what they call the ultimate teams, which is all dependent on how much money you want to spend on top of the actual game. Well, we never had anything like that to worry about in these versions of the game. By the time we got to the PS3, that was when we were starting to see that crank up. And, we've already got an injured Buckeye on the field.
He wasn't stopping until he got that 1st and 10.
But they did manage to get a first down.
First down, 10 yards.
So like I said, we're only 45 seconds into the game. And we've been playing now for, in real time, actually already about 5 minutes.
And he is drilled at the 44.
They sure shut down the halfback on that play.
But in the Dynasty mode, you are able to not only take over a program and see what you can do in your first season, but then it has a huge amount of capabilities for doing things like recruiting players. You can scout players from all over the country. You can sign them to scholarships. You can actually create players and add them to your team if you want. The amount of depth in that game, or in that version of the game, was amazing. At the beginning of every year, you can customize your schedule within a certain reason, because if you're not familiar with college football, especially nowadays, it's so much different. But the majority of teams of the different universities play in conferences. And you have what's called the non-conference schedule, which you will play throughout the year. Oh, man, he was wide open. I should have had him covered. But you have your conference schedule where you play your in-conference opponents. And then you have your non-conference schedule where you can play pretty much anybody you want. And for teams like Ohio State and Michigan, that's their opportunity to take on,
First down, 10 to go.
Appalachian University of basket weaving and nose pecking.
The defense sets up in the dime. Brought down at the 29.
As they try to run the option and take him down. Now, one of the other things I like about this version of the game, if you look at this menu, and you can do this for each section of your team, I can boost up my defense and have the corners and have my secondary be a little bit tighter on their coverages against Ohio State's receivers. And I can do the same thing, like I said, I can do that with the offense or with the defensive line. I can move them in different directions. I can move the linebackers in different directions. But you got to be quick about it. You don't have all day to sit there and throw it. And, oh, man. That was totally on me because I let the defender get loose.
And that's what you get when you practice hard.
And that's the other problem, is that if you are not really on top of where you switch over to your players, you can make a mistake and leave your opponent wide open like that. And as expected, we are likely going to be knotted up at 7-7. Now, you can block the extra points and you can block field goals. It is not easy. You've really got to be able to just absolutely nail the timing on it. And how you can get a little bit of a boost is if you are on defense, if you time it right and hit the X button when the ball is snapped, then you can get a little bit of a jump, and that can help you out as far as getting past your opponent and getting a good shot at the quarterback or the running back, whoever has the ball.
At the 22-yard line. First and 10.
The Wolverines go with the I formation, gives it off, and down he goes at the 23-yard line. Number 20.
So you have to think in terms of how much you want to be able to do run plays versus pass plays. Now, run plays, if you look at this menu, are the ones that have the yellow banner up top. Pass plays are the ones that have the blue banner up top. And you only have so much time because if you look at the banner up top, that red countdown number is the play clock. If you don't get the playoff before it hits 0, it's called a delay of game penalty. And if I remember right, I believe you lose 10 yards. Maybe 5, but I don't know offhand.
Blocking up front. Nice job of holding on to their blocks, allowing them
But
to
if you
break through
continue
for
to
some
run
big yards.
similar plays for too long, this game will have the defense start to pick up on that, and it will shift.
First down, 10 yards to go.
So you have to be careful in terms of how many plays of a certain type you want to run. And it, like right here, they jumped all over the running back and was able to only keep him at getting a yard. So now I'm thinking I want to be able to do something a little different.
It's second down and 9 to go.
And then if you hold the R2 button down, you can get this
Three wideouts
map
here.
that shows where all of your receivers are going to run on the play.
Setting up play action. Rolling out to the right side. Got it to his receiver.
This is a simple case of finding the hole in the zone.
Picks up the first down.
Good job of recognizing the coverage and then found his man.
And you don't get much time
Some credit too. He got
usually
open
to
and
decide
made a
who to
nice
throw
catch
it
for
to
the first
either,
down.
which means the possibility of throwing an interception is pretty high in this game. In fact, when I ran my test game just to make sure that the game fully worked so I could play it this week,
Another run.
oh, that was stupid of me.
Makes the stop.
That was well defended by the
I ended up
defense.
throwing
Hey, that
4
linebacker made a nice
interceptions in
play.
that game,
But what about all those big guys up front on the
which
defensive
was
line? They're good too, boy.
terrible.
Well, they created the play this time, Coach. The offensive line is so concerned with their penetrating abilities that these linebackers are able to roam free and make plays like that.
So it's second
So
and
we're almost
13.
down at the end of the first quarter. I'm going to change this up really quick. I'm going to have the receiver on my left. Now he's going to run a deep route.
He looks.
Lets
Fires
it
deep down the
go.
left
Can he get there in
side.
the end zone? Touchdown!
Number 15 brings it in. Touchdown.
That's the other thing I like about this game is that you can manipulate the offense in the same way you can manipulate the defense and have your receivers or your running backs take a different route if you think you can get the matchup. Now, if you gamble wrong, there's still the possibility of an interception or an incomplete pass.
They'll line
Or
up for the extra point
you
here.
could even take too long and give up and get sacked.
And he tacks on the extra point.
Punch extra
So we
point
take a
through,
moment to
and
check
now
out
we're up
Pontiac
14-7
drive.
with 5 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Now, looking at this graphically, it's not hard to see that it hasn't aged that well. The player
Kicks it off.
construct is still pretty good, as I kicked that one out of bounds
He
again,
kicks it off out of bounds,
as the
and
wind
that's gonna
picked
be
it
a
up.
penalty.
But the actual playing environment itself is a little choppy. When I played this on my PS2 back in the day, the field was a lot more
You mean to tell me that that
legible.
kicker can't kick it between there? Come on, kid.
They'll get the ball
And it's
here
not
at the
so much of a
35-yard
distraction
line.
First and 10.
sometimes, but it can
Number
be.
10 is back in the gun. First down, look at the throw. He's going left. Oh, great catch.
We tripped him up, and that will be the end of the first quarter.
Did a good job of picking up their assignments, and that gave the quarterback enough time to throw a nice
Now, there is one other thing that I did in prepping for this game, and I made one tweak to the gameplay.
It's first and 10.
And it's that I scaled back the penalties you can get for unsportsmanlike conduct.
The defense
And I
sets up
did
in the
that
nickel.
only because,
And they got
as
the
we
throw.
wrap them up and sack them, the referees they way overkill it on those. If you have a player who does even anything boisterous on the field,
23-yard line.
and you may see it as we go, they will drop a flag and it's an immediate 15-yard penalty. Which, if you're in the middle of the game and you're trying to drive downfield and you're trying to score, having
I don't think it
one
matters if they
player
ran left or right or
do
over the
something
top.
like
They just lost
this
the battle up front.
and having that result in a penalty is just, I mean, nowadays, the majority of stuff that you would see in this game wouldn't even get flagged.
23. Third and 12 coming up on this one. Ohio State comes out with an I formation. Looks, hit as he throws, and this one falls incomplete. Number 21.
And that went
was the
exactly
intended
as I had
receiver
hoped.
on
So
that.
now they're going to have to punt it
That'll make
away.
fourth down, and they're going to have to punt.
4th and 12.
The Buckeyes.
Now,
line
punt
up
returns
to
in
the
this
rail.
game can be a little tricky because you will see the camera shift
Number 15
from where
is
this
back
kick
awaiting the
goes
punt.
to all
He
of a sudden
punts it.
behind my return yard.
Signals for a
And
fair
I'm going
catch.
to signal for a fair catch
They
because
moved
we're
the
going to have
ball
decent
very
field position
effectively on their
anyway.
last drive, which ended with a touchdown.
And I might as well just start at the 20.
Sideline, try to make some corrections. Let's see if they can stop them this time.
The Michigan Wolverines
They line up at the
will
21.
start the drive at
It's
the
first down.
21-yard line. First and 10.
The Wolverines come out going 3 wide. Feeds it to the back. Tackle at the 26.
And we got a flag down.
Back, folks. Let's check out the penalty.
So clipping is when an offensive lineman, in trying to create a block,
The offense in a hole, and they'll try to
clips
get
the
some of that back on
defender
this upcoming play.
around the knees, which is why we get backed up 10 yards, and now we've got to try and go 20 yards to get a first down.
Ball on the 12-yard line.
They're in the eye. He's tackled at the 15-yard line. That's a 3-yard pickup.
3-yard gain on the play.
So we pick up a couple of yards on this, but now we're going to have to go to the air. And for as much as you would think that being able to go downfield is the way to go, sometimes doing shorter passes or mid-range passes is more effective.
Surveys the field.
So
Down the
going
middle.
here,
And it's caught.
picking this up, and then getting the first down
Good pickup by the receiver.
Yeah, this kid loves to play.
is exactly the sort of thing you want to do. And it was part of that that made me like this game so much. Because having the ability to get
Here's
the
offensive
chess match
production statistics,
factor
sponsored
of a
by
game like
Coca-Cola.
this, and it's hard to equate football being like chess.
Here's the give.
But you have to remember,
And they'll bring
what
it
you're
down
doing is
behind
you
the
are
line.
guessing
Loss on that one as he couldn't get past those
what
big
you
linemen.
hope
You got that right. They
your
sacrificed
team
their
will be able to
bodies in there
do
and
versus
stuffed it.
what the defense will be able to do, and vice versa. But now it's 2nd 11. Let's see what else we can do here.
Second and 11 coming up. Ball on their own 33-yard line.
We'll close in on about 2 minutes to go in the first half.
He's looking to pass. Looks. Across the middle. And it's the tight end.
We go to the tight end and again, and we were able to pick
momentum
up
on this drive, guys.
That's right, Brad.
the first down.
That was a crisp pass by the
Now,
quarterback.
this game
Pretty good moving the ball right now.
received the award from IGN for Best PlayStation 2 Sports Game of 2006 and went on to sell 2.5 million copies.
We've got a 1st and 10. Ball on the 48-yard line. Michigan sets up in the eye.
So it speaks to what
And down he goes.
EA was doing at the time in consistently providing the sorts of packages that sports game fans really wanted.
From the 47-yard line. 2nd down.
And ironically enough, the Xbox version of this game was the one that got the
Michigan
highest
comes
rating
out
on
with an I
game
formation.
rankings, just under 88%.
Shakes off a tackle. And he's tackled in the open field. He takes the handoff and responds with a 7-yard gain.
Now we can hurry up and do a no huddle. We can spike the ball. We can call a timeout. I'm just going to keep going because we got 90 seconds left in the half. Now let's see if we can air it out a little
They
bit.
line up at the 40.
It's 3rd and 2, so we need to get a pass off anyway because we need a first down.
The Wolverine line up with 3 wide. Looks to pass. He's in trouble.
Oh, and we are going to get sacked and drilled and dropped.
So he's sacked by the senior.
So that could not have gone any worse for us, and now I definitely don't want to call a timeout because I don't want to give Ohio State any more time
And old free safety's waiting to catch it.
to be able to do more stuff before we get to halftime. So we'll punt it away, and we're actually going to let the clock run down as much as we can. Again, while trying our best not to incur a
The
penalty.
deep man awaiting the return.
The wind is blowing this way, so I'm going to let the wind try and carry this and take it out of bounds.
Gets it away. It's low.
Instead,
Number
we
3
punt it
falls to the
straight
front
on, and it rolls into the end zone and goes out of bounds for a touchback.
So the offense takes over, and they'll try to figure out this defense.
Now, the other big thing that was included in this game was an option called Campus Legend, where you take one player and you create them to see if they can go on and win the Heisman Trophy and can lead their team to a national championship. And it starts from the time you are recruited as a freshman all the way through to, in theory, the end of your senior year. Oh, big hole.
Wrap him up. And they make the stop at the 39. Ohio State
can't leave
will
a
take
hole
their
that
first
big.
time out of the half.
Now, when they call timeouts, you're able to do little things like give parts of your team a boost.
1st and 10. Ball on the 39-yard line.
But if you play this enough, one of the benefits is when you watch actual football, games like this can make you a smarter football viewer.
They'll throw on 1st down. Number 10 passes. Someone got a hand on it.
And we just escaped getting burned for another touchdown. Because then you can learn the difference between a cover 2 and a cover 3. And you can figure out how to stop a run play versus how you stop a pass play.
39-yard line. Ohio State sets up in the I. Ohio State comes out with an I formation. Looking to throw. Throws a lob pass out to the right. Complete.
They go underneath of the running back, which will burn time, and they're going to use another timeout.
It's third down.
I'm going to spread the linebackers out here.
Ace backfield. Back to pass. He looks. He rolls out to the right. This one's thrown deep over the middle. Someone got a hand on it.
He just beat the
So we
ball.
knock
to
it
the
away
receiver's
for
hands
an
on that play.
incompletion.
Nice deflection.
Yep, and now it's fourth down.
So we'll have about
It's fourth down. And the
maybe
front team
10
lines
seconds
up.
to run a play because the clock stops at an incompletion.
Number 15 back deep to return. He gets it away.
Back to punt. Number 15.
Number
back deep to
15
return.
takes it to 28.
So we'll
The
have
offense
9
comes
seconds
back
to
down
run a
the
play.
field, hoping to build off their last drive.
It's all about execution, my friends. You saw them move the football, but they were unable to move it when it
They'll
mattered
take
most.
over. Down
Lee, I
to
think
So
20.
let's see if we can do something fancy here.
They had to, and they're going to look to do the same here.
Michigan comes to the line, only one man in the backfield. Looks to pass. Looks. He gets rid of
The
it.
time, let it
It's deflected.
go, but it
And
was
falls
tipped
incomplete.
incomplete.
That's just a great defensive play.
It won't look
And we
like
had to
much
let
of
it
a
go,
stat
otherwise
book,
we were gonna
but
get
that's
sacked.
getting the job done.
So that'll make it second down.
So now we have 4
28
seconds
yard
left
line.
before the half.
Second down, 10 yards to go.
I'd rather have my guy on the right side go down the sideline. I'm having him burn straight downfield.
Pass. Looks. He fires this one. Got it. And they tackle
So we
him.
go underneath. We don't get a touchdown. But we did well enough that we picked up yardage as we go into halftime. And we still have the lead 14-7. Now, if you want to, when you go to the half, you can check your stats and other things like that. But for the purposes of brevity, I'm not going to worry about any of that
Is
stuff.
set to kick this ball off to start
But it
the
was
second
another
half.
part of this game that I like is that throughout it, you
Decent
get
kick.
little flashes of information
Number
relevant
15
to the
fields it at
game.
2. And now a
Like how your offense is doing, how well a particular player is doing relative to the rest of the team, stuff like that. Which is part and parcel with what you get in any major sports broadcast.
At the 24-yard line.
And having worked in sports media for
Number
the
20
better part
lines
of
up the
15
back.
years,
Hands it to the back. They'll bring him down for a loss on the play.
The tackle.
I know how a lot of that stuff gets put together and how critical it is to making sure that your audience is able to both follow the game and get what they want to be able to see as part of it.
You can never tell.
Michigan sets up in the eye. Again with a carry. Spins upfield. And down he goes.
Oh, and he got
At the
popped.
29. Number 20 gains around 6 yards on the run. So that'll make it third down.
The other thing that might seem a little bit antiquated in this game is the mechanics. Or at least as far as the plays go, because a lot of what you would see in this game, you wouldn't be able to get away with nowadays.
Third down.
Like a lot of those pops up top, like that guy getting almost folded in half on that hit.
These are the kind of situations where you look to the playmaker at receiver. He's looking. He flings it. Catches it. Spin move. Good open field tackle.
So we get
And
the
a nice pickup
reception,
there.
and now we're
I'll
up
tell you
near
what, the
first
defense
or
gambled
near
a bit here,
midfield,
came
and we got the
away,
first
and
down.
The quarterback showed tremendous poise by making a good read and delivered a nice ball to the open man.
First down, 10 to go.
So we've already thrown 6 of 7 for 152 yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions with our quarterback.
Here's the give. And he's tackled at the 47. Number 20 picks up about 4 yards on the play.
Like I said, after 2014, EA Sports was no longer able to make any games that had anything to do with collegiate sports at all. So it wasn't just the fact that they couldn't make an NCAA football game anymore. They also couldn't make an NCAA basketball game anymore. And there was at one point where they even making college baseball
The
games.
defense sets up with 5 defensive linemen. Feeds it to the back. Oh, he got tattooed on that. The running back gets a yard.
But now, because student athletes are able to make money on their name, image, and likeness, there has been a lot of speculation, and I haven't seen anything formalized yet, and that may be changing in very much real time, that we will start seeing college football games especially being produced probably within the next year or two.
Line up with a single set backfield. Play action. He throws. And he's got him again.
Oh, that was almost picked. I got lucky
easy to
there.
overlook those guys on the line.
Yeah, the defense came after them, and those linemen held them long enough for the quarterback to throw for a first down.
It's 1st and 10.
1st and 10. Ball on the 37-yard line.
One-man backfield.
All right, see what we can do
Drops
here.
back on 1st down. Looking. He passes it. And it's caught.
Get it to our tight end, or we're down inside the 15 near the 10.
Yeah,
I got lucky there, too, because you threw it into double coverage. So there was a guy in front and a guy in back, and neither of them were able to get the ball, which meant I had to put it exactly on the money.
First down, 10
We'll
yards.
try
to
it
go.
this time.
We'll see what they can do in the red zone.
See if we can get away with not going to the
Wolverine.
halfback,
Go
but
with
the
the I
fullback.
formation. On the ground, up the middle.
Yeah,
Make
I
the
had a
stop
feeling.
at the 12-yard line. And the fullback plows
He got
ahead
maybe
for
back to the
maybe a
line of
yard.
scrimmage, but that's it.
Second and 9. This is the 9th play of this drive. They line up in an I. Inside give. Tackle made at the 9-yard line.
The other thing you have to worry about, if you give it to your running back too many times in a row, and the defense decides that they can clamp down on top of them, they can cause a fumble.
Threatening inside the 10.
And if they get the recovery on that, then you're in a world of hurt.
The Buckeyes line up with 6 defensive backs. There's the play fake. Lets it fly. Caught.
Get there? No.
That'll be a game of
We got the
3 yards.
reception, but not enough for a first down, so we're going to kick a field
It's
goal.
4th down. The kicker is out there, and this one is 23 yards away.
So it's 23 yards away, which in football terms is a chip shot, but with the wind blowing 30 miles an hour,
The kick is up.
hopefully it will go through, and it is good.
And now we're going to take a look at
So
the
it's
final drive
17-7. Wolverines with 1:17 to go in the third.
Michigan.
Now I have to make sure I absolutely do not kick it out of bounds again.
Nice kick, plenty of distance.
This time we got it, and then we'll go into the corner of the end zone, and then we'll down it for a touchback.
Before the offense hits the field, let's take the time to let you know that our game is brought to you by EA Sports.
So we've done the smart thing in making sure we can control the ball on offense and not give Ohio State any opportunities to get back into this.
The Buckeyes line up in an I formation. Pitch out. And he couldn't go anywhere.
It'll be a good pursuit on that run. As he was trying to turn the corner, he had 3 or 4 blue jerseys bearing right down on top of him. And that's what you're hoping for.
It's 2nd down.
Ball on the 20.
So now we're going to put 5 defensive linemen up front, have 2 linebackers, and 4
Ohio
defensive
State
backs
comes out with an I formation.
in the hope that they're going to try and run it
Back
again.
to pass. Throws it.
Instead, they ran it,
Incomplete.
but the tight end got blown up as soon as he tried to catch it, which nowadays that would be at least a 15-yard penalty, if not a potential ejection. But as it is, that gives us 3rd and 10.
3rd down, 10 yards to go.
So now we're going to do a dime formation, which is what you want, where you have more defensive backs on the field than anybody else, to counteract Ohio State having 4 wide receivers out there.
Tackled for a loss.
And then they tried to run the option, and he got sacked.
Rolled down the ball carrier.
He really showed his strength on that play. This guy has one of the highest bench presses on the team.
Well, he's one of the heaviest guys on the team, too. I hope he's one of the strongest.
So now we will return the punt.
It's 4th down now. We'll see the punt team. Number 15 awaits the snap. Number 15 punts it, and he didn't
Now
take
with the
that ball
wind,
out.
they'll kick it out of bounds, which gives us great field position because we're inside Ohio State territory on their 47-yard line. So we'll get a couple of plays off before the end of the third.
They'll go to work at the 47-yard
take
line.
over at the 47-yard line. First and 10.
Now we still have a quarter football
Number 20 is the deep back.
left,
They
I
line
should
up in the
say,
I.
and it's only a 10-point
Tosses it
lead,
out.
so I'm not going to write it off
spin.
yet.
Tackle at the 36-yard line. A big gain
We
for the
pick up the
halfback.
first
When
down.
we talked to the coach yesterday. He said they were going to run it over, up, and around this defense. Well, here they got a nice gain on the old toss play.
Let's take a look at the offensive production numbers. Brought to you by Coke.
Well, we've definitely been dominating on offense. 227 yards to 90.
Looks to pass. Looks. Throwing left.
Going to the corner. Can we get it?
They can't connect.
No.
Incomplete.
You almost had him there, Coach.
Yeah, well, guess what? It doesn't count if you almost threw
So
a
that'll
good
be the
pass.
end of the third
Almost
quarter, and it's
doesn't
still
count.
17-7
Sounds like a head coach
Wolverines.
Yeah.
And it's second and 10.
Second down.
Ball on the 36-yard line.
Number 20 lines up in the deep back. I formation. Tackle made at the 30-yard
So rather than
line.
going around the
Number 20
corner
gets
like
6
that
yards
play
on
was
the
drawn
carry.
up, we went up the middle since we could see the defensive line shift.
Third and 4. Ball on the
It's
30-yard
third and
line.
4, so if we can convert a short yardage play here, we'll be in good shape.
Defense is looking for the pass as they bring out their dime package. He's looking
We go
down
up the
middle.
middle,
Got
caught
it.
it, and we're down inside the 5.
At the 5-yard line.
It's
And with that
exactly
catch,
what we were
goes
hoping for if we
100
couldn't get the
This wide
touchdown.
receiver is definitely having a solid game. He's getting his yards, but more importantly, he's moving the chains for first down.
Michigan trying to go up by 3 scores. They're in the red zone where last
So now we
time
just
they
got to
came
go
away with
5
only a
yards
field
and
goal.
get into the end zone.
Handoff up the middle. Bounces off a whipping tackler.
They got
We got
great
hit
run
once,
support
got back to
from
the
safety
pile, and
position
didn't get much
He
further.
had his eyes in the backfield that whole play. Great anticipation to stuff him for a loss.
From the 5-yard line.
Ball on the 5-yard
Second down and goal.
The other thing we want to be able to do is get as much time off the clock as
They're
possible.
going to pitch it. Breaks one. He's taken down at the 5.
That way Ohio State can't
No
counter.
gain on the play.
Third and this is from the 5-yard line. It's third and goal.
Now let's see if we can get in for a touchdown.
They're crowding the line. End zone.
Tight end is there, and he's got it. Touchdown.
The quarterback mixed things up a bit and found the big
Well,
guy
that
to score.
may have been the dagger,
Very, very hard at his receiving skills.
because we've got 3.5 minutes to go in the ball game, and we are now up by. It's a 3-score game if we can get the extra point, because Ohio
So the
State
kicker
will need
lines
2
up for the
touchdowns
PAT.
and a field goal to tie. And they'll need it in 3.5 minutes.
He splits the
So I
effort.
have to go back to my broadcasting days and say, barring the highly improbable,
Our score, Michigan 24.
we may
Ohio
very
State
well have another win in our
The kicker looks like he's ready to kick this one off.
series, and I believe that puts me at 15 wins. I will have to go back and double check
And it's
my
off.
sheet.
You got to keep the kick in bounds.
And
Here's the
unfortunately, I
ref's call.
kicked it out of bounds again.
They'll be set up with good field position after the kicker sent that one out of bounds.
It's the kicker's job to send that ball deep, so he messed up big time.
So if we can hang on and get the win, I will go to 13-7-3 in this series.
They'll take over at the 35.
13, 14-7-3. Correction on that.
They line up in the shotgun. Makes a move. And they push him out at the
Number
50.
10 on the run. 15-yard.
And now is when I expect Ohio State to pull out all the stops.
Here's a look at the offensive production statistics.
Because they definitely need to get back on the board in a hurry.
Number 25 is the deep back as they line up in the eye. He lets it go. It's complete.
They try to go underneath the fullback, and fortunately I had a linebacker right there to cover it. Let's run a 46. Why not?
Second down and 11 yards to the
This
sticks.
may bite me in the butt because this is going to be a lot more aggressive than a normal play.
Ohio State sets up in the eye. Feeling the pressure.
But it worked.
And they couldn't hook up on that one.
As he got hit as he threw it. That wasn't a fumble because he let go of the ball. But
aggressive here with their pass rush, and that time it paid off with an incompletion.
sometimes if you send the dogs after the quarterback, you get that pressure. That's as good as getting a pick or even
Ace backfield.
Even a short yardage completion.
Look at the throw. Slings it left. Got it.
Except that time it went right downfield and they burned my cornerback for a huge pickup.
That was a great
He went right by my guy. There was no way I was going to get that ball.
Then they wouldn't be losing this bad in the fourth quarter.
Let's see how the defense handles the no huddle.
One man backfield. He drops back. Slips it short. He's knocked out of bounds.
They go right back to him, but
That'll be a gain of 3 yards.
Gain on the play.
they ran a comeback.
About 12 yards out.
Ball on the 12-yard line.
Now, if they score here,
The Buckeyes come out in the ace formation. Setting up play action. Down the middle.
which they're gonna,
Touchdown, Ohio State. And for that young man, it's touchdown catch number 2.
Hey, this guy's really stepped up for his football team
so
today.
now they will kick the extra point, and now they will, look after that, try an onside kick
Smart move, too.
to try to get the ball, which they have to
They'll
do.
line up for the extra point here.
They don't have the luxury of kicking it back to me and having me take the next 2.5 minutes off the clock. Because if I score again,
And he
that's
tacks on
it.
the extra point.
So they've
And
got to
now
get the
we'll take a
ball
look at the
back.
Pontiac drive summary.
And they've got to score again, and then they have to kick a field goal.
There's not enough time for them to make a defensive stop, so they'll try the onside kick. Here's the onside kick.
Well, we recover it,
There's a player injured down on the field.
and my tight end is hurt on the play.
This would be a huge loss for this team. Let's
Now,
hope
it
this
is
guy can get
quite
back into the
possible
game.
when these injury situations happen that your player could be out for a quarter, they could be out for a couple plays, or they could be out for the year. You never know. Which is why you always have your your throat kind of seizes up a little bit
They'll set up shot at the
when you see it, because you're like, oh, that's a player you really need, and they got hurt. Man, what are you going to do?
They're in the eye. Run, left side. Just
Number
nowhere for
5
the ball
makes
carrier
the
to
stop.
go as the
No
linebacker
gain
met him in the
on the
backfield.
play.
Boy, what great play recognition by this linebacker. He saw the run was coming, and he just
Second
shot
and
through
10.
the gap and made a
Ball
great
on the
tackle.
43-yard
So my
line.
tight end is lost for the rest of the game. But if we were to play another one after this with Michigan, he'd be back for the next one.
There's a missed tackle. He's
Big pickup, which is what we
On
needed.
defense, it's all about instincts. It didn't look like their instincts worked too well on that play.
You're right, Lee. There was a lot of running room there.
Here are the offensive production stats brought to you today
So
by
now we
Coca-Cola.
just got to keep the clock running. And again, there's no 2-minute warning.
Look at the throw. Number 7 rifles it. Caught. And they make the stop at the 33-yard line. They get 5 yards on the play.
5-yard gain on the play.
Now that was a risk by running the pass play, because if they picked it off and they had open field, they could have run it all the way back. But it was a gamble I was willing to take. It would shorten up how much I needed for a first down.
Inside give. And he's taken down at the 29. The
Now we need a yard for the
Timeout.
first down, and we can let the clock keep on running. Actually, they're going to call a timeout, is Ohio State.
Third down and
Now, let's see if we can trick them by having multiple wide receivers out there. They're going to think, if we're lucky, it's a pass play.
Michigan goes with the
If they bite on it,
they'll run for the first on 3rd and short. And
which they didn't, but we had just enough to get there.
Are going to take a timeout. That was their second timeout.
So now, Ohio State's down to their final timeout. And the booth is going to review the spot of the ball. Now, we're over the first down marker. So, it's definitely a first down. Our knee didn't hit the ground.
It's first and 10. Michigan comes out with an I formation. The halfback with a carry.
Oh, we may have a chance here.
He's taken down at the 6.
Big pickup, and now we're down inside the 5.
They're really having some trouble stopping this kid on this drive.
Well, guys, the offense...
Whoop, hang on. Apologies, we have a little bit of lag because my computer is deciding it needs to act up for some reason. But that gives me a moment to give you a little bit more details about this game because, as with most games that EA puts out, they usually have somebody who you know from the sport on the cover. And in the case of college football, it had to be somebody who had already graduated and likely been drafted. So that way that the university that they were a part of was not penalized by the NCAA. So the cover athlete for this one, for 07, was Reggie Bush, who was the running back from USC who won the Heisman Trophy in 2006. And then, after USC got into major trouble with the NCAA over recruiting violations and various stuff, ended up having to give his Heisman back.
And they make the
Ooh,
stop at the
big
6
pop.
yard line.
On the
0
carry.
yards on that
No
play.
gain on the play.
Congratulations to our Coca-Cola players of the game. These guys were playing on a very high level today. They're crowding that line of scrimmage. Gives it up the gut. Ohio State.
And they knew
take their
everybody was
last
coming
timeout.
in. So let's see if we can cap this puppy. Yep, we'll run this.
We've got 3rd and goal. And
Run
this
a
is the
little
ninth
hitch
play
route.
of the current drive. They're crowding the line. He drops back. He's looking. Throws it. And it's
Tight end, and he's got a touchdown.
That might be enough to do it here.
Yep.
And that will cap it. So we will get our 14th win in this series.
Crazier things have happened in college football.
Oh, what a nice block by the fullback. Otherwise, my quarterback would have been drilled.
Here's the kicking team to try the extra point.
So we'll kick that
And he
away.
hits the PAT. So we take a moment to check out the Pontiac drive summary. Michigan to kick. Number 2 and number 11 back ready to return.
And now we just got to run down the last minute, and this one will be in the bag.
Number
Like I
1
said, this
takes the
game,
10. And now we'll
that
see the
is
offense
one of the
come out on the
few
field.
gripes
They're
I have
on
about
the
it, in that even though you set it to the lowest amount of time for each quarter, which is 5 minutes, it still takes nearly an hour to play a full game. Which,
Let's take a look at the offensive
in the grand
production
scheme of things,
numbers
is a
brought to you by
fairly
Coke.
small nit to pick. But by comparison to other games I've played in this series,
6
where,
DBs in the lineup.
you know,
First
remember
down,
when we
look at
played
the throw.
Aussie rules football,
And he brings it down. And he gets
man,
peppered.
he threw that inside of 5 Wolverines. That was impressive.
He really got up there, didn't he, Coach? can go up and catch a ball like that.
But anyway, Aussie Rules Football, we played 2 matches in a half an hour.
Complete tackle at the 46. Nice little catch there.
Because the clock just happens to run down that much quicker.
Short passes. They're safe and can lead to some really good yardage.
4 wide. Back to Pat. Moves up in the pocket. Guns it across the middle.
We got to the tight end.
I'll tell you, this receiver...
They don't have any timeouts, so they got to hurry up and run
This
it.
kid is always calling for the ball. And if he keeps making plays like that, he'll continue to get the ball.
The Buckeyes come out in the shotgun. Steps up. He looks. Rolls to the left. Throws this one out to the right.
And knocked it down.
Almost intercepted.
You got to be careful throwing into coverage like that.
Well, Coach, I don't think it was a poor decision. It was just a great reaction by the man in coverage.
That'll bring up second down.
They're going with 1 wide receiver, 2 running backs, and 2 tight ends.
The Buckeyes line up with 2 tight ends. And he threw that one up for grabs.
This is one of the things that drives a coach crazy. You don't want to do anything stupid. Make mental mistakes that may cost you the ball game.
From the 31-yard line. 3rd down, 10 yards to go.
Now we only got about 20 seconds to go.
Rolling out to the left side.
Oh, and he got drilled.
Sack for a loss at the 36.
He just got drilled on that play, Coach.
Now I could call a timeout here, or I could let the clock run down. I am just going to go ahead and let the clock run down because, again, they don't have any timeouts.
And they'll go with a no huddle. The defense backs off on the coverage. Drops back to pass. No one open, so he's going to
And
run.
we get the sack with 2 seconds to go.
That gamble could really end up hurting him because if the opposing offense scores, then everybody is going to be pointing fingers at that old coach.
You know what? Heck with it.
They'll get the ball here at the 34-yard line.
1st and 10.
Last play of the
Goes with
game.
set here.
We can rub it in a little bit. It's Ohio State.
First down,
They've earned it.
throw. He's looking.
Oh, but I got
Number 13. Scoops it up.
I got hit and I fumbled the football, but it doesn't matter. Because we go on to win and beat Ohio State 31-14 in the Big House in front of about 100,000 people. And because Ohio State was ranked as the #1 team in the country coming in this game, and we were ranked 14th, it's actually quite the upset. But that, everybody, is NCAA Football 2007 from EA Sports for the PlayStation 2 that was released in 2006. They said, is it a game that's aged well? I would say so, barring the obvious differences between what you see graphically on a PS4 or PS5 nowadays. You know, it still holds up well. The game is still challenging. It's easy to follow if you know how these sorts of games work. Again, the depth involved in this game from the different playing modes that you have available is really what still sells it for me. And if you like games like this, it's what really keys into the replay value. Because if you want to just play a straight game, you can play a straight game. But if you want to be able to create your own player, you can do that in Campus Legend. If you want to be able to have your own program and play for a number of years and build a true dynasty, you can do that. You can even play with the mascots if you want to. So, again, the ability of what you're able to do as a gamer in a title like this was really what EA was best at right around the turn from into the 2010s. And then it really feels like it fell off as they got really into making sure you had microtransactions and specialty players that you could only get by paying a premium on top of the cost of the game. And to me, it's a big reason why I haven't bought an EA game really in the last 5 years. And even though we've got a new Madden game coming out again this year, like I said, am I going to buy it? I doubt it. They're going to have to do a lot of changes to bring a lot of things like this back to really get me to put my money down, especially now that for PS5 games, it's not $50, it's not $70. You're looking to pay $100 depending on the title. So discerning customers are going to get even more so if it's not what they want. But in the meantime, if you've enjoyed this, and I do hope you have, easiest way to show it is hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. We will have Suckerpunch Sunday coming up tomorrow, where we play a classic fighting or fighting platform-based game from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation. I've already got a couple ideas in mind for it. I got to make my decision here in the next couple hours so I can get that video recorded. Also, be sure to join us for our playthrough of Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, which was part of the Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater Special Edition for the PS2. We are down to our final episode of that. That will be coming out on Monday. It's an 11-episode series, so it's not that hard to follow. I also apologize in advance because I do notice after the fact that the audio got a little bit garbled on it. I had an update for my OBS recording platform that I use to make all these videos on, and somehow along the way, it set it where my microphone was either on level or like just below the soundtrack for the game. Hopefully I've gotten that corrected, and we'll be able to go from there moving forward. And I do have a couple of ideas in the works for what my next playthrough is going to be, but that will be coming a little bit further down the line. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Rodent's Retrocade. Spread the word about us so we can hit our goal of 100 subscribers as soon as we can. That way we can unlock the YouTube customization algorithm and make this channel bigger and better. And as always, if there's a game you would like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, or MegaDrive, SNK, Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a line on Instagram. It can be any game from those consoles that you want. And as always, my name is Ron. It's been great to spend this Sports Saturday with you. It is great to be back. Be safe, be well, happy gaming, and we will talk to you tomorrow for Sucker Punch Sunday. Bye.